Hello, good evening and welcome to Bellshill Central Parish Church. My name's Alan Matthew, the organist here at Bellshill Central Parish Church. Throughout lockdown, during 2020 and into 2021, we have presented what has become a weekly episode of the Organist Entertains from here inside the church with the organ and myself. Tonight is episode 48 and it has turned into a guild night. In asking one of our guild members, Peggy Walker, if any of the ladies in the guild may have a hymn they would like requested, I ended up with no less than 14 hymn requests. So that is why episode 48 has turned into a guild night. Our church guild here at Bellshill Central Parish Church is a thriving guild, one of the largest in the area. They meet on Monday afternoons normally, through in the hall for tea, coffee, cakes, fellowship, to hear about guild projects and have interesting speakers lined up to tell them things that's going on in and around the local area and around the world. Their speakers can range from fashion to what's happening with Bernardo's or one of the guild projects, such as the Boys Brigade. The hymns requested tonight all come from either present or former guild members. The first hymn tonight actually isn't a request. It is, however, one of the many guild hymns. It's the hymn which was written for the Church of Scotland Guild Centenary. Worship we our Lord and Father, as we gather, as we sing, set to the tune of Regent Square. Now, the centenary of the Guild ended this centenary hymn with this phrase: "Glory, honour, now we give you, whose we are and whom we serve. We, your people, praise and thank you, whose we are and whom we serve." That has been the Guild motto for many years and still is very relevant today. So we start the Guild night, Organist Entertains, with "Worship we our Lord and Father" to the tune of Regent Square. As an organist of almost 25 years, I have my favourite hymns and my not so favourite hymns. And they can be my favourite hymn or my not so favourite hymn for a multitude of reasons. Unbeknown to our Guild President, Liz Morton, and Guild member Helen Daly, one of my least favourite hymns has been chosen for tonight. However, being a long-suffering organist, I do play the hymns which I'm not too keen on. The hymn is Bind Us Together, Lord, which is a hymn loved by many, a hymn which joins together people in both song and in words. The hymn is one of my not so favourite hymns, purely because a church where I once played, it was the minister's favourite hymn, and the hymn came out at least once per month, or a little bit more often. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with Bind Us Together, and it is a hymn which I know is loved by at least 2 of our Guild members. So thank you, Liz, and thank you, Helen, for requesting Bind Us Together, Bind Us Together. Next is the first of 2 requests from Guild member Margaret Martin. The first of her 2 requests is a request which we had last week, so I'm going to try and play it a little differently to show you another side to this particular hymn. It's the hymn, O Love That Wilt Not Let Me Go, words by George Matheson, once a minister at Inellin Parish Church in Argyll. And one of our Guild members, Peggy Walker, has an association with George Matheson and O Love That Wilt Not Let Me Go. From memory, there is a family connection there. So that's another Guild link with this hymn. I've played it softer and quieter, with a little bit of different accompaniment and a little repetitive phrase as we near the end of the hymn. So here we have, with Margaret Martin's choice, O love that wilt not let me go. Our fourth request is the first of two requests from Mary Baird and her daughter June. Mary was a Guild member here at MacDonald Memorial and then Bellshill Central for many years, before age meant that she couldn't comfortably attend on Monday afternoons. She is a dear friend of the Guild and a regular attendee here at church. Her daughter June is a member here at church, but not a Guild member. And the hymn which is a favourite of both of theirs is Immortal, Invisible, God Only Wise. This hymn is a favourite of another Guild member, Anne Guy, and she requested it a few weeks ago for our Burns night, set to the tune of The Road and Miles to Dundee. However, this evening we have it to the set tune, which we will find in all of our hymn books, St Denio. Immortal, Invisible, God Only Wise, requested by Mary and June Baird. Moving on to number 5. It's the first of a few requests from the Guild Secretary, Sheena Bowman. This particular request came in a week or two before this turned into Guild night, so that's why Sheena has ended up with what seems more requests than anyone else. The hymn is Count Your Blessings, a much loved hymn of many. And this was requested by Sheena just as people started receiving their letters to go for their COVID-19 vaccinations. She thought that we should all be counting our blessings because we are beginning to see some progress with the rollout of the vaccinations. So it's a very apt choice, Sheena. And it's the first of 3 of your requests tonight. So here we have the hymn, much loved by all, Count Your Blessings. We're almost at the halfway point, and at this particular juncture, I'm introducing the second of Sheena Bowman's requests. It's not exactly a hymn or a song of praise. It is a secular item. However, it could very well be a sacred song. It is the popular song, You Raise Me Up, sung by Josh Groban and Westlife in recent times. I often think that this hymn transcends both secular and sacred. It reminds me so much of the song and hymn On Eagle's Wings, which is linked to a portion of scripture in Isaiah where we are lifted up on eagle's wings. So this is a point to pause and reflect on the words and music of You Raise Me Up, requested by Sheena Bowman. Now, at the halfway point, we have a hymn requested by Guild member Cathy Bryden. Cathy is known to many in Bellshill and certainly to everyone here at Bellshill Central Parish Church as being a member, an elder, being the clerk to the congregational board and a guild member. Now, I wonder if Cathy has a liking for golf. And that will come clear in a moment or two. First of all, there are a couple of hymns which have occupational links. For example, Crown Hymn with many crowns is sometimes referred to as the dentist's hymn. And this hymn, There is a green hill far away, is sometimes referred to as the golfer's hymn. However, Cathy's other favourite hymn, which was requested either last episode or the episode before, is On a Hill Far Away. So I'm beginning to think that Cathy is a fan of many hymns, of course, but she either has a penchant for golfing or hill walking. So perhaps, Cathy, you could share that with us if you have a liking of golfing or hill walking. However, your hymn request is There is a green hill far away, which we don't get to sing all that often. It's one of those hymns which comes out during Eastertide and Holy Week. And such as Christmas carols, we would love to sing them a lot more often. So thank you, Cathy, for requesting the golfer's hymn, There is a green hill far away. Hymn request number 8 comes from Mary and June Baird. This is the second of their two choices this evening. The hymn is Nearer, My God, to Thee, which many people associate with the Titanic and its tragic sinking in 1912, 1914. I'm sure someone will correct me to let me know the correct date. This hymn is known to many because of the Titanic disaster and the subsequent films, movies, screenplays, etc., which have been produced on its fateful story. The hymn tune, which many associate with that fateful night, is not the tune that we are having played tonight. The tune tonight is the tune which is found in our church hymn books, Propire Deo, and it's the tune which I know to Nearer That My God to Thee when playing the organ as I was growing up. So, thank you, Mary and June, for your hymn request of Nearer My God to Thee. However, I would ask you to tune in next week, because we've had it requested by another follower of the Organist Entertains, and they have requested a different tune. So we'll see if it's the Titanic tune next week or another. But tonight we have the hymn requested by Mary and June as set in our church hymn book, Nearer My God to Thee. Our next request tonight is a guild hymn, and it has been requested by our Church Guild's treasurer, Anne Guy. Anne Guy is another person in our congregation who wears many, many hats. I'm not sure if her and Kathy are vying for who can wear the most hats, but Anne, as well as being a church member, an elder, a member of the choir, guild treasurer, is our safeguarding coordinator. The hymn is "Inspire us, Lord. Give us the strength and courage to serve with grace, unselfish and sincere. Commit our lives, supporting one another with hope and peace, replacing hurt and fear." The rhythm of those words may give an idea as to the tune. It's the wonderful air, Londonderry air, which many people will associate with Danny Boy. However, these words, written specifically for the Church of Scotland Guild, are loved by many a Guild member. So thank you, Anne, for requesting one of the Guild hymns. Inspire us, Lord. Give us the strength and courage to serve with grace, unselfish and sincere. By my counting, this is going to be the 12th hymn request from our Guild here at Bellshill Central Church for tonight's Organist Entertains. The hymn has been requested by Anne Fairclough. The hymn is "Lord, You Have Come to the Seashore," and I know that this is a favourite hymn of many people here in the congregation at Bellshill Central. This is a favourite hymn of Anne's because she remembers going along to Strathclyde Park. She says many years ago but I remember going as well, so it can't be that many, Anne, to record songs of praise. We gathered at Cadsall Parish Church during the week, rehearsed the songs with the organist, John Pitcaithley, who is known to many across Lanarkshire and across the country. And we then gathered a few days later, as I remember, quite a sunny day, Anne, at the beach part of Strathclyde Park, where we had John on a piano this time, and the cameras gathered round us as we sang songs of praise for the BBC. As Anne rightly says, this was one of the hymns that was sung in the programme, and it has got happy memories for Anne of her television appearance. So here we have for you, and I hope that this brings back the memories that you fondly recall. Lord, you have come to the seashore. almost at the end of tonight's Guild Night of the Organist Entertains, which brings us to the third request from Sheena Bowman. It's also been requested from Alexa Walker. And Alexa, although you're not a Guild member, we'll make you an honorary Guild member tonight because your hymn choice or song choice matches that of the Guild Secretary, Sheena. The request is Highland Cathedral, which is synonymous with all things Scottish. However, if my memory serves correctly, and I perhaps should have looked it up a little bit beforehand, and I'll just do that as I'm talking, I am sure that Highland Cathedral was not written by a Scotsman. It is described as a slow air, mainly recalled for folks played on the bagpipes. However, it was composed by Ulrich Ruver and Michael Korb, Germans. It was composed back in 1982, making it quite an old song and not one that I would have thought was that old. You will be tapping along and humming along and looking at the words which will appear on the screen. Land of my fathers, I will always be. It's something which is always requested for our Remembrance Day service by our Master of Ceremonies, Tom Taylor, as the flags leave the sanctuary and depart up our two aisles. So enjoy Sheena and Alexa's request, Highland Cathedral. Apologies, I seem to have misnumbered the number of hymn requests that we have tonight. I've got this down as being the 14th, but I know I've still got to introduce 2, so my numbering system has gone slightly wrong tonight. The hymn request is I Need Thee Every Hour, and it has been requested by Guild member Helen Clark, member here at Bellshill Central, choir member, church elder, and of course a Guild member. Now, we've not met together for almost a year now. However, Helen hasn't been too well over the last 6 months. However, Helen is making good progress and recovering well, and it's great to hear such good news, Helen. We know that you are in touch with Guild members and choir members and church members while you're convalescing and recovering, and it's great to hear these updates. We're thankful that you've given us one of your favourite hymns, which is I Need Thee Every Hour. Now, when you called me and told me about your request, I asked, was there a particular reason why it was either one of or your most favourite hymns? And you said there was no reason. It was just a hymn that you loved, a hymn for its words and a hymn for its music. And that's all that we ask, is that you tell us about your loved hymns. So thank you, Helen, for requesting one of your favourite hymns, I Need Thee Every Hour. Now, this is the penultimate hymn request. It's the second request of Guild member Margaret Martin, and it couldn't be more of a contrast to your other hymn requests. Our penultimate hymn is Be Still, for the presence of the Lord is moving in this place. This is a hymn loved by many. I know that. It's a hymn which graces orders of service, praise lists every week, up and down the country and probably around the world. It's a hymn which I remember being played by John Pitcaithley. So there's a link to Anne Fairclough's hymn because of that Songs of Praise connection. At a Lanarkshire Society of Organists ecumenical songs of praise, some Januaries ago, perhaps 8, 9, 10 years ago, at Cadzo Parish Church. John's flair and musical interpretation of this hymn was just lovely. The organ at Cadzo Parish Church, a fine organ, was played superbly and was on fine form itself. The second verse, Be still for the glory of the Lord, I think it is, was for the men to sing. And the reeds, horns, oboes, all those kind of stops were playing with that gruff tone to support the men singing that second verse. The organ here at Bellshill Central Parish Church, fine as it is, has a different specification from that at Cadzo, so I'm not able to replicate some of the sounds which John played that night. However, it's a hymn which sticks in my mind for that purpose. So we thank you, Margaret, for requesting Be Still for the Presence of the Lord, something which starts us off in quietness, then moves to the louder and more firmer words of the glory, before we move to the final verse of moving in the power of the Lord. our final hymn tonight, and I kept it for the last hymn because it's the best place to have it. It's one of those hymns which blows away all the cobwebs from the pipes of the organ, and one which is usually sung very lustfully by the congregation. It's been requested by Guild member Wilma Macmillan. It is the hymn, "Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land." It is a hymn which has been used in worship of congregations around the world and across all denominational lines. It was incorporated into two of the most televised services in the last 2 decades: the funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales, and the wedding of her son, Prince William, to Catherine Middleton in 2011. Some people would say, why would this hymn be used for such significant occasions? And why has this hymn stood the test of time in so many worshipping communities? The hymn was written by William Williams, who was born in Carmarthenshire in Wales. In 1744, he devoted himself to Methodism, and the text of "Guide me, O thou great Jehovah" was written soon after that in 1745. In one story of "Guide me, O thou great Jehovah," it says that its author, William Williams, beautifully interweaves imagery from the Old Testament book of Exodus to evoke a sense of God's guidance through strife. And one of the reasons this hymn has influenced such a broad array of congregations is its universal subject of struggle. Every Christian, and indeed everyone, encounters difficulties. "Guide me, O thou great Jehovah" affirms the reality that God provides for us and redeems all wrong in the world. This God who provided for the Hebrew people wandering amidst the barren lands the bread of heaven. He is and still will be the God of our provision and our grace. The hymn is, of course, sung to the grand tune of Cwm Rhondda, the Welsh name for the Rhondda Valley, and that is a popular hymn tune written by John Hughes. So that's a Welsh hymn translated from the Welsh to English, played here in Scotland by a Scottish organist. However, I know tonight that it will be enjoyed by people in Scotland, England, Ireland, Canada, South Africa, and Australia, and perhaps even in other lands. So thank you, Wilma, for requesting such a great hymn of faith, giving us strength through difficult times. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. Well, folks, thank you for joining me and the Guild here at Bellshill Central for tonight's 48th episode of the Organist Entertains. Before we finish, and we have our concluding voluntary, if you wish to call it that, I'm going to share with you some more pictures of our active, friendly and sociable Guild here at Bellshill Central. They've not been able to meet now for over a year, and their plans were scuppered by the pandemic. For the new session, which should have commenced in September 2020, which they postponed and looked forward to with hope and optimism to perhaps begin in February. However, those hopes were dashed because this pandemic is just simply not going away. We do remember everyone who's getting the vaccines just now. This is the first step to defeating and keeping this pandemic, this disease, COVID-19, under control so that we, through all our facets of life, can return to normal, including our Guild meeting on Monday afternoons through in the hall for fun, friendship and fellowship. So here are some images from our Guild meetings, and then we'll come back and say cheerio and we'll look at the forthcoming episodes. Doesn't it look like our Guild have lots of fun? Yes, they do. So, in closing tonight, I thank you personally for joining me on the 48th episode, and we look forward to the 49th episode, which is coming up next week, and the hymn list is growing already. Then the week after, of course, that's our golden celebration, the 50th of these regular Organist Entertains. We have the hymn list filling up already, and thanks to Peggy Walker, who has kept great notes, I have some fascinating statistics for you. At the current date, we have had 444 requests for songs, hymns, or pieces of music. I know what the top 3 are, but I shall hold them back until episode 50. We already have some video requests from people requesting their piece of music or their hymn and telling us why it is their favourite. Time has not yet ran out, so you too get your request in and send a video or other sort of message so that we can have it either introduced by you or introduced in the appropriate manner by me on your behalf. Episode 50 is going to be a super bumper episode, and we want you to take part. So if you don't have a hymn request that night, send us a message to say hello, where you come from, and what has been your favourite element of the Organist Entertains. Has it been a hymn? Has it been an item of music? Or has it been given the chance to sing? Something which we're not allowed to do communally. But I certainly know that many sofa has become a music chair on Wednesday nights for the Organist Entertains. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to being able to include your messages in our 50th episode. So in closing, I wish you all to keep safe, stay healthy, and good night.